Right, here we are. Here we are for part two of Turtle Basics reviewing Python. We covered this is just a continuation. So if you haven't watched part one, go pause, stop this video, go watch part one. This is part two. Like I was saying, what we covered before, we covered the import of the Turtle module. We covered random so that we can use it down here. We created a variable, created an instance of the turtle, call it Jack. We created another variable. It's a list variable, and inside our lists, we added a bunch of colors. We created a function, our first function. We drew a pentagon. And now we tested the code here by calling our function. So this is what it looks like. Now it's random color purple. Run it again, random color green, because we're using random colors, right? So we know that the code works. We saved it. This is saved from last time. So we're going to continue. And we're going to create a few more shapes. Okay. So the next shape we're going to create a hexagon. All right, so hexagon shape. What you could do is, if you're able to do so and you know how to use the copy and paste, is you're going to highlight your previous code. You're going to Control C to copy. At the same time, press Control and C to copy if you're on your Windows computer. If you're on Mac, you're going to do the Command and the C to copy. Okay. Then if you're on Windows, you're going to press Control V to paste. If you're on the Mac, you're going to press Command V. It's going to paste. Voila. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this. I believe I said we're going to draw a hexagon. So we're going to change the pent. Okay, you can just go highlight the whole thing, or you can come here and you can backspace, 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 backspace. Okay, and we're going to do the hexagon, yes. And this time, how many sides does the hexagon have? Hexagon has 6 sides, 6 sides. So what do we need to change in this code? Here, we copied the code for the pentagon, which has 5 sides. Yes, we need to change our for loop. So we're going to repeat a set of code. Instead of 5, we're going to use 6 times. And if you're coming from Scratch, it's just like the repeat loop in Scratch. This is a counting loop. Okay, it's going to run a certain code 6 times. And the code it's going to run is the code that's indented here. This is why indentation matters. And just from indentation, this for loop belongs to this function because you see it's indented. Okay, so the for loop is in the def function. Now we're going to go 100 pixels, but instead of turning 72 degrees, this time we are going to turn 60 degrees for the, so you're going to get rid of the 72 and you're going to change it to 60 degrees for the hexagon. And what I love to do is, and I always encourage everybody to do the same thing, is that what are we going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to test the code. So we always run the code, make sure you don't have any errors. Very important. Now that we run the code doesn't have any error, we don't know that it works. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But a great way to test the function and your code is, we know the first one works. Let's call. Okay, when you create your function, you can test your function by calling your function by name. And with the open and close parentheses, because these functions, they don't take any arguments or parameters, so we're just going to call it empty. When I run this, it should draw. Let's see if this works. Okay, did it work? Did it work? Did it work? It drew a hexagon. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so we drew a hexagon. Very good, very good. And now we're going to continue. So I'm just going to put an enter here and we're going to draw our next shape. And the next shape we're going to just do 3 shapes for now. The next shape we're going to do is an octagon. So let's drop the code here. Again, you're probably wondering how I did that so fast. Highlight the first code. You're going to press a Control C. If you're on Windows, Control and C at the same time. Then you're going to put the mouse where you need it to go. Then you put Control V at the same time. It's going to drop it, or you can pause the video and type it. If you're on a Mac computer, you're going to do Command C at the same time. Put the mouse where you need to put the new code and Command V. All right, that's how you're going to do it. Okay, moving right along. We're doing well. Things are coming along nicely. So I'm going to, because we're going to call this, what did I say, octagon? Yes, I think that's what I said. So we're going to do the octagon, right? And how many sides does the octagon have? That's right, the octagon has 4 sides. So actually, does the octagon have 4 sides? No, the octagon has 8 sides. So the octagon has 8 sides. So what do I need to change here in my range? I need to repeat the set of code 8 times. That's right. But now we're going to all go 100 pixel forward, and then we're going to turn 45 degrees to the right. Okay, so we're going to turn 45 degrees to the right. Make sure your code looks like my code. The indentation should be perfect, right? 4 space, the depth, this. Notice this is indented under here. Each indentation is typically 4 space. And then this is 4 space in, then another 4 space would make it 8 space. And I'm going to go ahead and run this. Of course, it drew the hexagon because that's the last thing. That's the last function I call. That's the only function I call. So if I comment this out, we always run our code to make sure it's working and there are no bugs before we create a massive code, and then it takes forever to troubleshoot, right? So we don't want that. So let's do this. Nothing happens, but we know there are no bugs and nothing happened because all I did was I imported, I created my turtle instance, I created my list, I defined my function using the def keyword, function name, colon. So I'm going to uncomment, and because this is commented and we all know that the computer does not execute comments, it's used for us coders or another user to know what the program is doing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call my octagon, make sure the spelling is right. So I'm going to run it. And there we have the octagon, and the octagon is cut off, but that's okay. That's okay, because what I'm going to do later is I am going to use the goto. But before, we're going to use the goto in a condition. And remember goto, if you think about this in a Scratch, think of the canvas as cut into 4 quadrants or 4 sections, right? You have a 4 section. I won't make this video too long, so think of it as cut it in 4 sections, and each section has numbers. So this here could be 0, 0, and we can use these numbers to position it like on a map to the longitude and latitude type of thing, right? So, but we'll do that after. Right now, just know that the code works. And we are going to, I said that we are going to, right now we're using random to select the colors. Let's use something else. So instead of random to select the colors, we're going to do another simpler version. Still using our list, but remember list, every item in the list has a position. My list is colorless. Every item in the list has a position, and to access those, because the list square bracket, we're going to use position or index number, open and close parenthesis. So if and the index, it always starts at, does it start at 1 or 0? Starts at 0. Okay, the first item or element, our index number is always 0. Okay, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want my shape to be purple, I would have to use, what number would I put in the square bracket to access the element in that spot? Purple. What number would I use to access purple? I take a guess. 0, 1, 2, 3. That's right. So if I put 3 here, okay, and because I modified this one, I want to make sure it works. And then I'm going to do another save, because I always save. So hexagon, right? That's not right. Hexagon. So let's run the code, make sure it worked. Purple, that's right. And you can change the number. You can pause the video and you can change the number. So if I put, if I wanted to put the green, draw a green hexagon, what number would I use? What index number or element number would I use? Knowing that the list always starts at 0. If I wanted to use green, I would put number 1 to access this, because 0, 1. So when I run the code, it should draw a green. That's right. And let's see if this will work. So if you remember, and if you don't know, the last item of every list, is always in position -1. So if I put -1 for my position here, I'm going to assume, and I hope this worked, because you know it never works when you're trying to do a demo, that I am going to draw a what color hexagon? Aqua. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Yes. So assuming this is in your list, we're doing a review of a list. If this is -1 and I wanted to draw a yellow hexagon, what number would I put to access the element using minus? If this is -1, then this would be -2, and then I'm assuming it's -3. Let's give it a go. Do you agree or disagree? Pause the video, test the code for yourself. Okay, -3. Let's see. Yellow. Nice. Okay, so many ways you can access your list. We see that we can use random choice to change the color, and then we can use the index number. So I'm going to go ahead. I like my fave is green or purple, so let's go with, I want to pick the green. So what number should I use? That's right, the 1. Because the first element in your list is always 0. And I know I repeat that a lot because it's important to grasp and important to understand. So now that we have all our colors and all our shapes, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put everything into a while loop, because we always assume that it's always good to assume that the user will never enter what they're supposed to do. And we want to prompt the user to select the shape they want us to draw for them. So they're going to get the choice to select a pentagon, they're going to get the choice to select a hexagon, or they're going to get the choice to select an octagon. And if they didn't select one of those, we're going to tell them wrong, invalid entry. Why? Because you should always have error checking inside your code. It's so important, because the user, assume the user will never do what you expect them to do. So your code will crash or you will get unexpected result. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to ask the user to enter or to select what shape they want to draw, and we're going to error check in our code. All right. So catch you in part 3.